Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. So today I'm going to be demonstrating how to draw a wolf nose in colored pencil on Pastelmat. You can work very nice and detailed with colored pencil on Pastelmat. It's slightly different from working in pastel pencil, but you can use practically the same techniques. It just looks a little bit different, and I hope you'll enjoy this pretty short demonstration. So you can find the full wolf project over on my website in the drawing club membership. I think it's a 7-hour project, so you'll get access to that when you sign up for the membership. Have a look at the link in the description if you want to know more about it. So yeah, let's get started right away, and I'll see you in the end of the video, where you can also see the final result of this drawing. So I hope you'll enjoy watching. But first let's do the nose. The nose is very interesting to draw. Usually the bottom half is super dark and the top half is more shiny. But when you look at the bottom half, it looks like it's highlighted. So the nose seems to be very wet. So the only super dark parts in the nose are the nostrils. So let's put those in. And the rest of the nose isn't that dark at all. We see a dark line right here above the nostrils, but then the top is highlighted again. So it's very interesting to draw. So we really need to observe the tones that are in the nose. But first I'm picking black and I'm going to outline the shape of the nostrils and then fill those in. Do the shape first. No, let's do the other one. You don't see much of the other nostril. And we can't outline the rest of the nose because the rest isn't that dark. So I'm just outlining this little part with black, and then I can fill that in, though on the inside right here on the left you can see a slightly lighter spot. I'm going to go around that. Alright, and then I can take a slightly lighter tone and outline the rest of the nose as well. You can see that the top on the right is a little bit brown. So I think I'm going to take Caput Mortuum Violet instead of brown to 63 to outline just this little edge on the right. And then I'm going to outline the rest with gray. picking the Caput Mortem Violet because it has a little bit more depth than just brown. Okay, just that little part, and then I'm going to switch to, let's do a cool gray to start with. Payne's gray. And then I can lightly outline the rest of the nose. Light pressure. There's not really a harsh outline around the nose. It basically flows over into the fur pretty well. But I do want to get an idea of the shape, so let's first outline it and then later we create the smooth transition to the fur. Let's put in that center line as well. And then the top I'm going to outline just with little strokes. Just super lightly. Alright, and then I'm going to look at where the wetness on the bottom half of the nose starts. So you can see this line here right above the nostrils. Across the nose. And then everything below is all very wet and highlighted. The area above the line is slightly darker, and then you can see the highlights on the top again. Pretty interesting. Let's get started with the bottom half of the nose. Usually you just color that in super dark. This time it's not that dark. I can continue with the Payne's Gray 181 because it's basically the right base tone for the nose right here. But a very light base layer because we do need to lighten this up later as well. And I'm going to look at the darker parts. I'm going to skip the highlights so you can see those highlighted lines here and there. It's pretty small, pretty tricky. Just using small circular motions. Alright, so before we continue, let's put in those highlights right away. So it looks pretty bluish. So let's take sky blue first. 146, make sure it's super sharp. And look at the shapes that you see. So we can always highlight this even more by going over with white, but the blue underneath gives the color more depth. Alright, so now let's add some more color. I do see a slight touch of violet, so I'm going to add Caprimorton Violet 263 on the slightly darker parts. So I'm going to work around the highlights I just put in. And I don't need much of that, just a little hue. We're going to lighten this up anyway, but I just want a little bit of that showing through. And I'm also going to put it right above that line, because I see that brownish, little bit warmer tone right above. So let's put that in. Looks a little bit weird right now, but it will come together later. And then we need to make that transition towards a more lighter top of the nose, which catches a lot of light. So let's switch to dark sepia. So I'm sticking with the warm tones for the top. 175, so I'm going over the Caprimorton Violet and then bringing that up a little more. Then I'm going to make that transition into a lighter gray. I can continue it to the side right here. That's quite dark. You can already see a little bit of that effect, even though that the paper is not saturated yet. Alright, next gray. Cool gray 5234. Slightly lighter again. So for the highlighted sections, I want to stick to cool tones. Usually highlighted areas are wet, so catch a lot of light, and usually that reflects colors from the sky, which are more cool tones. So for highlights, sticking to cool tones. All right, and then I have to go in lighter. Let's just go for cool gray 1 to 30 right away and put that in towards the edge of the nose. Alright, so that is a start, but it's not finished yet, definitely not finished. So I'm going to add some more cool now, some more blue. So let's add dark indigo, 157, and I'm going to glaze it over the bottom half and the top half as well. So just light pressure. And then some violet glazing always looks nice as well. So I'm also going to add that, 138. Not too much, both the top half and the bottom half. Alright, so now it's time to start pushing the colors into the paper a little bit more. Getting rid of the paper texture, because for the nose, especially for the bottom half, I really want a smooth effect. I'm going to use a gray. Let's do cold gray 3 to 32. Not too dark and not too light. And then see what we end up with. Super small circular motions. Going around the nostrils. Still not using a lot of pressure, but a little bit more. Alright. A little bit at the top. Those are darker sections I want to leave dark, so I'm not going over that. Now we can also add a little bit more contrast again. So I do want to darken this bottom half up slightly again, because a little bit too light right now. So I'm going over again with Payne's Gray 181. And I can darken again here and there. Go around the highlights. But now you can see that the paper texture has gone, almost. Alright, and then I can highlight the bottom even more. So now I can take white and really highlight those edges that you can see. Sharpening all the time. Let's add these nice bright shapes to the nose. A little bit of dotting and highlighting at the top of the nose as well, though this part is not finished yet. But I can add a little bit of those textures by dotting the white. You can even see some bubbles on there. Maybe it's snow. Just going to add some little circles. Alright, and now I can take black to really hype up the contrast again. I can go over the nostrils if they got lightened up too much. I can shape the nose a bit better here and there. I can also darken up this line. This edge right here. And add some texture. I'm just going to add those little lines and dots in the nose as well with the black. It's very small, so we can't exactly copy the nose on the photo because it's just too small of an area. Alright, so that is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it or found it helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And I hope you liked the final result of this drawing as well. I really enjoyed it. And by the way, the background is done with pastel pencils and the wolf is in colored pencils. So it's nice to mix those together. It gives a very unique effect, I feel. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. I hope you liked it too, and then I'll see you in the next video.